What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait, I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Because I was about to say something. It's an Eminem track. Yeah, I got the cut. What's going on? It's not the breakdown. It's Tuesday Live. It's either we're going to come back with episode 700 officially tomorrow or Thursday. I know I keep on like delaying it, but it's either tomorrow or Thursday. We're back. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Big up to everybody tuning in. Much big up. It's a stick up. All right. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Okay, I got a lot of things on my mind to talk about. 100%. I got a ton of things to talk about. I watched a lot of shit. I watched a lot of things. I don't know. Is this Blazer good today? Am I fucking with this Blazer today or not? Let me look to see if I'm fucking with this Blazer or not. Let me see. Let me see if I'm fucking with this. Oh no, I gotta see if I'm fucking with this. Am I fucking with this Blazer or not today? Guys, chat, tell me. Chat, tell me if... Should I replace the Blazer with something else or is this Gucci, man? Tell me. The Blazer is blazing. Okay, there we go. I didn't want to wear a tie today, okay? I'm transitioning. Because yesterday, obviously, I was just chilling on Monday. If you tuned in on Monday, I was just chilling. And then, obviously, today, no tie. Tomorrow, tie. Promise tie. I was going to wear like just like a regular shirt. Thank you very much for telling me. Thank you, Mother of Dragons, for telling me that I look fabulous. Shout out to Tech. Tech is here. Fran, I'm sure she's going to come in here sooner or later. We got a bunch of the same crowd in here. Gentle, look at Gentle, giving me a nice comment. After being here for so many months, finally a nice comment towards my way. finally. But I want to talk about something that's happening, and it's something related to media. And I just want to touch on that. Give me 1 second, though. I just want to do something quickly. But I do want to touch on it because I don't know. I feel like it's important. It's important because it's something that our space has been working on. And now I see, you know, these people slowly are starting to come into our space and they're trying to take it over. And I ain't gonna let that. Well, I guess I was thinking about certain things yesterday. I'm not gonna have a crash out. I'm not having no crash outs today. I promise no crash outs. Okay? No crash outs today. I got a haircut. I got a haircut. That's because I got to get used to this haircut. I can't have long hair. I got to get here, I got to get the short haircut because obviously I'm competing and shit like that. Less drag, all that shit. And I wanted to grow out my hair long. Like, I really wanted to fucking grow it out, but it is what it is, man. Fucking is what it is. It is what it is. I look like I'm fucking, I look like I'm 20. At this point, I look like, I'm Benjamin Buttons. I don't know why I don't like this blazer today. I don't know why the fuck I don't like this blazer today. I feel like something's missing with this blazer. I know the American flag is missing on this blazer. I don't know what's missing on this goddamn, what is missing? What is missing besides half of my hair? What is missing? Nah, I don't want to put on a tie. Listen, they always ask me for ID. Look at me. Look at me. The blazer's competing with the haircut. I'm missing a nose ring. I don't know. I don't know what I'm missing. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know. I don't know. Should I have dyed my hair blue or pink? Anyway, all right. This is what I want to get to. Besides getting on to other topics that I want to touch on, I want to touch on, can we make $1,000? Can I take $1,000 and make $50,000 within 2 days? That's one topic I'm going to touch on. Eyeliner. What the fuck are you talking about? You guys getting carried away. The watch. I put the watch away because I needed a break, man. So I went so hard. This is how hard I'm going. Here, let me show you something. This is how hard I am going in terms of training. Look at that. You see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see that? I don't know if you guys are seeing that. If you see this right here, there's like this red mark here. I look at my, like, I don't really take off my watch much unless I need to clean it and stuff, because you clean it because of the sensors and stuff. And I'm looking at my wrist. I'm looking at my wrist the other day, and out of nowhere, I'm just looking, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I literally have, like, my skin is fucking coming off. Like, it might literally, to the point, that's how heavy I'm lifting, to where I didn't notice that the watch is fucking tattooing me. So, like I said again, and I gotta say, I gotta say, I am in, like, the best shape of my life. And, like, I'm in the best shape of my life. And I played hockey. I trained. I had trainers who trained me. And don't get me wrong, like, I was in great shape then. But, like, I am really, knock on wood, I am in the fucking greatest shape of my life. And I'm still not there. And obviously, yeah, I'm taking peptides and shit like that. So, like, could that be helping out? Maybe. I don't know. But I am, like, so fucking dedicated now. I am absolutely dedicated. Like, I am dedicated to training. Not that I've never been dedicated when I've worked out or I've never been dedicated when I was training. No, no. This is different. This is different. It's just because I want to do this Sparta event, obviously, and the Ironman. And like, I know how hard and difficult that shit is. And a lot of people can't do it. And I know what I got to go through. And that is fucking hell. And I'm putting myself through hell. And like, it's not just cosmetic. So like, from a cosmetic standpoint, like I look at my body and I'm like, wow, like this shit is, I'm getting ripped and this is nice. It's great. But I feel good. Like I feel, no, it's not eczema. I don't have eczema. It's not eczema. Somebody was asking about that. I've never had eczema, nor is that eczema. That is literally the watch. This part just rubbing in along with this, just rubbing in. Because to me, I like to strap in the watch tight. And like, obviously when you're lifting blood, anyway, you get it. You understand. So I'm lifting. And by the way, with peptides or not, I've always had, I don't want to gloat, but I've always had a good body. But it's the training, and mentally, I am so fucking focused. Like I am lasered in. Like for instance, like pizza. I love fucking pizza. I love pizza. If there's one thing, if there's a kryptonite out there for me, it is pizza. 100% pizza. It's pizza. It is 100. By the way, you said get shredded the old way. Bro, I'm a Viking. I got Viking blood, Eastern European blood. My DNA, easy to get shred. I'm just taking peptides because peptides, there's nothing wrong with them, okay? It's not a steroid. Okay, it's amino acids and shit. Like, I can't. I'm not gonna. Anyway, I love pizza. And before I would be like, okay, I'm gonna eat pizza. Now, that doesn't even no, I don't even want it because I'm that focused. I am so focused, and it makes everything better. Like my attitude's better. Not that my attitude's ever been shitty. I'm just saying my attitude's better. That my outlook on things are better. Like it's just the clarity is better. Like everything's better. So yeah, it's great. It's great in terms of like your body looks good. You look good. You don't have a triple chin, shit like that. Like that. Yeah, that's great. You're not fat. People will take offense because I said fat. I don't know. It just feels good. I encourage everybody to go work out. I really do encourage everybody to work out because you stay young. You really do stay young. You stay young. You stay young. Anyway, welcome to Tuesday Live, sponsored by Midnight, sponsored by Polymarket, Cake Wallet, and the People's Reserve. All right, so I seen a new A16Z has now pushed out. They've pushed out their own media channel. They've gone out there and pushed their own media channel out there, and some of it is copycat. Respectfully, I'm not bashing them. But I said that I've been saying for the longest time, we are the new media. Like me coming onto this microphone and looking into this camera every single day, starting up this show every single day and breaking down trending news, whether it's crypto, finance, and even politics. We are the new finance. We are the new media. We are the new media. And I knew the day would come where VCs would start knocking at the door. They would start looking for ways to push themselves in here. I knew that would happen. And they came out with a show, and I watched it a bit. And a lot of it is, it's a bit copycat. But now the big boys want to play because they understand like they can't get their message across on mainstream media. They understand that they need to get the only way they can get their messages across and sell their products is by having a media company. And that's what they've done. They've created their own little thing, and it's a 24/7 network. And I like this because now it's challenging. Now the challenge begins. It's like independent companies like me versus big time institutions like them. Who wins? Is it money that wins, or is it the personality? Is it the person that you see every single day, Monday through Fridays, from 12 to 2, that comes onto this microphone and looks into this camera that breaks down news? Is it that you're tuning in for that person, or you're tuning in, or do you want to tune in to just the same shit that you would see on MSNBC? That's really it. That's really what it comes down to. Let's bring in Landy here for 15, 20 minutes. Landy, by the way, came out with his the recap. You can go ahead and check that out. The recap comes out Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch that. You can catch the recap on the Gokhshtein handle on Twitter. You can also catch it on Landy's own personal Twitter, which is at CryptoLandy. And then check out Landy on TikTok at landy.btc. Let's bring in Landy real quick here. I'm gonna go. We're gonna break. Let's see what's happening with the markets and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna go back to breaking everything else down. What's going on, Landy?
Hey, good morning from the West Coast.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's a new beautiful day. The last day of a ceasefire, and we see that markets are, adjusting to the prospect of possible renewed conflict. We don't know yet. As you well know, there's some negotiations supposedly going. We don't know if they're happening or might happen over in Islamabad. And the markets are reacting a bit to it, but also in a logical place for oil markets and traditional markets. Nasdaq and SPY making new all-time highs, kind of getting a pullback yesterday, and now we're seeing a little bit of a correction in markets. But by and large, crypto markets have actually held up pretty well. Bitcoin trading back to 76. It did trade above and sell off. I would be careful around some of these areas if you are a trader, but this is nothing too crazy, nothing really that unexpected, especially considering traditional markets ran like crazy. We had a massive V recovery for Nasdaq and SPY, which were well underway in terms of their recovery prior to even the ceasefire, but we now have had significant higher highs put in that were all-time highs for them. Seeing a pullback here while oil begins to auction a little bit higher off of some support zones and some reclaim areas is what's providing for that risk rotation. So a little bit of a risk off trade today. We'll see if that continues through the rest of the week. And we'll see obviously what's going to happen this evening at the expiration of the ceasefire. And if there is any kind of extension of that, if there is any negotiations, or if all of that time spent really rearming the Central Command's fleet over there, the naval fleet, and the there's a few others that have arrived in terms of support with shipping and the blockade. In terms of the Mew, and we'll see if anything else comes through. But they've been loading up in the area, definitely ready to go on the military side of things. So we'll see what comes out the other side of this.
All right. So where do you see Bitcoin going, and is there anything else interesting within the crypto markets that has particularly caught your eye here?
Well, Bitcoin, obviously trading between that 76 and 78K kind of region the prior week. And then the move down over the weekend was right into an area of support. It's right around 74, 73 and a half to 74 to 76, kind of be in the range there. If we do see 74 dropped in lower term timeframes, I'd start eyeing down to 70,000 to 72 as an area that the bulls would want to see hold up in terms of support. So 70 to 72 is kind of the bigger area. If we do see like 73 and a half, 74 dropped. Other than that, auctioning back above 76 puts it right in an area of interest between 76 and 78. It's a zone that has been tested. The weekly overhead is $78,000. There's actually a weekly zone there between 78 and 80. So it's all about closing back above 76 and start pushing towards that 78, and then recovering that area, more importantly, and starting to trade an auction above $80,000. That would actually give Bitcoin a really good chance to get some further moves into the mid to low 80s and potentially a little bit more on the table. I'm looking at the chart right now. I'm not totally sold on that happening right here, right now, without a correction in Bitcoin back to around the 70 to 72. That's a little bit dangerous, though. If we do see 70K lost, it's all about the highs. And in fact, the prior all-time highs have become key points in the range that we've been trading in below 70K at 69,000 and 65,000. So if we were to start dropping, 68 to 69, we're probably right to 65. Now, many will remember back in 2021, 65 was the first high that was put in. And then the all-time high later was 69K because we just love memes in crypto. And outside of that, what else has been interesting to me? I'm sure that as well as everybody in the crypto space knows, there's been a little bit of controversy going on when it comes to bridging protocols and DeFi protocols. And there's been a lot of attacks and exploits of various bridges. And then subsequently, after bridging over tokens off of various networks, we've seen that that DeFi protocols have been taken advantage of to really cause some havoc. I think that starts to, if we do get a correction, that starts to become the narrative for why the correction is in play. But in reality, it's all about the auction at this point. If we do get a correction down, I think that's the more important thing. So what I'm doing is I'm actually watching some of the protocols on the major networks to see how, if they have a token, if it's a protocol based, if it's a token based protocol, I'm watching the protocol. So the base protocol, whether it's Ether, Solana, or one of the other majors, and then I'm watching some of those DeFi based tokens on those protocols. So that's what's interesting to me. I'm not going to get into like a lot of specifics there, but I'm looking at where Ethereum's going. There's obviously a bit of a nasty setup for an unwind when it comes to some of the DeFi side of things that could have a cascade. I don't know necessarily how much that would actually affect the actual auction for price. But like 2,000 to 2,200 is kind of the area that I'd want to see Ethereum hold up if it does head down. So 2K to 2,200, it's kind of a range support zone that I would want to see hold. If not, it's headed back down to the 18 to 1900 and potentially lower down to the lows again. So you kind of want to see Bitcoin trade above 68 to 69. Therefore, you kind of want to see Ethereum trade above 2K to 2,200 on any corrections. That's really about it on the crypto side. There's not too much else that's really interesting. I think the more interesting thing to watch is oil markets, because that is what's going to cause the risk on versus risk off rotation. And just say, like, people are getting freaked out already. Like, oh my God, the sky is falling when it comes to markets. Like, did people not just notice that we had a straight up V recovery and these markets wanted risk, right?
Yeah.
We had a V recovery to new all-time highs for Nasdaq and SPY. A correction from here is healthy. Like, so I kind of want to see oil push to the upside, test, like for WTI oil specifically, I want to see it test back into the 90 to 95 area and preferably see it as resistance. But we also had Brent coming off of that same area where WTI oil broke down below a key level at 90 to 95. We saw Brent oil hold up there. And this is because we're getting this fractured market. And in a fractured market like this, which I think is going to continue to stay fractured for as long as there is even the supposed remote threat, even if they call an all clear on the strait and traffic is normalized, if there is still any kind of tension there, even if there's an agreement with the United States and whatever regime is in place in Iran, because there is a bit of a soft coup, it seems like, going on there, mixed messaging, and one side doesn't know what the other side wants to do. They're being critical of each other. And that's what happens when there's a power vacuum. But even if there is some sort of a resolution reached during these talks or negotiations, um, I think that it's going to remain a tense situation. And we've already seen that the supply chains have already shifted, right? So we've seen that the logistics and supply chains have shifted. And when I'm talking about logistics, I'm talking about what the Saudis are doing with the Red Sea, how we've seen shipping readjust to come to the United States, whether it be in the Gulf of America or Alaska. And we've seen other shipping lanes begin to really light up in a very different way, as it comes to getting oil and liquid natural gas. So this is going to be something that I think a lot of people are going to make a big deal about if they do start the conflict again. You're going to see everybody throw their hands up and be like, "Oh my God, oil's going to go back to like $350." It's like it was never $350 to begin with,
I,
but they're going to
I
act
don't
like
really
it's
think
crazy.
I don't really think crypto bros care about that.
They do
No,
because, and they must.
regular retail does not that trades does
They
not give a shit about oil.
Yes, they do. You want to know why? Because they regular retail doesn't have the money to move markets, and when we get a risk off move in markets, crypto's going with it.
Yeah,
And
you're not getting what I'm saying. Regular retail that's around running around here does not look into
yeah,
or most likely isn't in traditional markets.
well, that's why they
So
get wrecked consistently.
they're blaming random people for the markets going backwards.
Well, that's why they get wrecked all the time, and that's why
That's
they
what I'm
can't
trying to
get out
say.
of the rut.
I'm not saying like people like you don't look into the
Yeah.
market.
No, I get it, but most people in crypto, that are regular, there's no regular people left in crypto, right? There's very few, like,
Oh, they're survivors.
I mean, they're on a life raft, and they're just hoping that something will go right for them, and this move up was supposed to be their bottom call. Here's the thing. What I wanted to say regarding some of the Iran stuff as it relates to oil is because a lot of people are just going to expect it to really spike up, but we have not had that much moving through the strait, meaning that even if we see conflict kick up again there, it's not like there was like the strait was fully open, like we had all this normalized traffic going through there, and we've already had supply chains readjust. So even if we see a nice bid in oil, which means we're going to get a risk off rotation in markets, and that includes crypto, because as soon as that happens, Bitcoin, regardless of how the market sees it, regardless of how people, participants see it, rather market participants see it, the market at large still treats it like a risk on asset. So when there is a risk off move in markets, we see Bitcoin go with it, and by virtue of that fact, we see everything else in the crypto space go with it. So if we do see a continued move higher in oil, we're going to see Dixie strengthen. We'll see a correction in traditional markets. Not saying that we're just watching this potentially play out today. And when I say correction, I mean, a significant downside move, not sideways for like Nasdaq and SPY. We're right around where we were yesterday. And the same goes for Bitcoin. It's right around its highs, could potentially go and still test its highs. But if we see oil continue higher, we're going to see likely a correction in markets, which I think is sorely needed, and that's going to bleed over into the crypto space. Um, you can see that the Bitcoin being below 76K and not getting continuation above 78. If we continue to see that on close over close tonight and then into tomorrow, I'm telling you right now, this is going to correct, and it's all about the areas you want to see hold up. 70 to 72, 2K to 2200, which is a wide range for ETH, by the way. And then if we start to see those areas break down, that's where, Bitcoin has the potential to run the full range that it just popped out of to go test 78. Because this was an overhead. This was technically, for the audience out there that hates when I say bearish things, this was technically a bearish retest for everything in crypto. They all hit major overhead resistances that were prior supports. So we'll see. We'll kind of see. It's not a foregone conclusion what's going to happen from here, but I can tell you that oil looks like it could pop up. Speculators could drive it up regardless of what's going on. And I really do think that NASDAQ and SPY need a correction and need to find support and put in some further structure, which is going to lead to what I hope would be a healthy correction for crypto.
Welcome to Tuesday Live. We got Landy here. Okay. So is there anything though, like within the markets that you would kind of like not recommend, but in a sense dabble into for the time being? Or would you stay out of the markets right now?
I'm short. So I am a seller in these markets right now on the short side. And I have been since the overhead resistance got tapped that weekly at 78. And I'm willing to close that short position if we begin to push back to that area. I did take a little bit of profit off of it, but it's not to target where I would fully close that position just yet to the downside. So no, I'm not interested in, if you're a buyer in these areas, if you're accumulating in these areas, I think that the opportunity would be lower for accumulation's sake. I'm a notorious meme coin hater, so screw all your memes. I'm going to short them into the dirt. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't really seen too much that has presented opportunities since the lows, right? Like that was a really good opportunity on the low side when Bitcoin was trading at 60 to 65 off the lows and then continued to hit 65. That was the opportunity, right? When Ethereum was trading below 2K, that was opportunity, right? When Solana was trading, well, no, there's a little bit of an inside joke, but Solana needs to trade back to $20 for me to be interested. But
Really?
it's a bit of an inside
I don't know.
joke.
I think
Solana's
Solana's is about to cook. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
If you mean cook everybody that uses it, sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah.
No,
Bro, like there's where you know what it is? I used to have the same mentality with Solana.
I'm joking, by the way. For the audience out there, I am joking. Kind of.
You know what the funny part is? Before, like I would say things just like you, and I would never be joking about it. But
I traded the hell out of Solana, so like I don't care. I was in so damn early to Solana, and I held on. I held faith when people were just shitting on it at the bear market lows. It was supposed to be dead. Sam Bankman-Fried killed it. Like I was in there buy. I was like, yo, might as well buy it. Like it's like around $10, or it was like between 10 and $15. And then it started to actually like consolidate around the 20s. Like it was, and it went as low as like below $10 last cycle. So here's the thing about Solana. It's right on a support. And if it falls through, it's probably going to be pretty violent, right? So the main support area that it's consolidating in,
oh my
the
god,
70,
my bad. Sorry, Lynn.
75 to $100. So 75 to $100 is kind of where it's been. It's below $100. It hasn't quite hit $100, but it's the support area is around $75 to $100. That is like the main support area, and it's holding it. It swung below it on the actual sell off down to, 60, was it like $65, I believe, on the low? It was 67.50. If this support falls apart, I would expect $60 and potentially lower. That's the thing. And no one wants to hear that. I'd be looking, $60 all the way down to 50. And if it lost 50, I'd be looking significantly lower. And I'm being straight up. That's why you want to pay attention to Bitcoin and the areas that it holds up. Same for Ethereum. Solana looks good here if it can trade and actually set a higher low. It did not do the same thing as Bitcoin and Ethereum, though, which is why it's holding support. If you're a long-term hodler and you want to get in and stack your bags, I would say I'd wait for some possible opportunity for either a trend change and then a higher low buy, or for an additional move to the downside. And yeah, I don't like that it didn't actually follow the rest of the market with its structure. But we'll see. Prove me wrong, Soul Bros. Prove me wrong. Say that analyst piece of crap puppet with a Bitcoin crown on. What does he know about Solana? He doesn't know anything about Solana. Solana's going to cook, and he will get cooked for this opinion. But in reality,
Well, I hope they all attack you. See, like that's what I was like. I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable in the other one. That's why I had to change. No, I didn't feel comfortable.
you just felt like it was too dark side. Yeah.
It just felt, I don't know, felt weird.
Yeah.
Felt really weird.
So you wanted to
Felt like
blend
I-
in with your
I
chair a
needed
little bit.
to say that again.
So you wanted to blend in with your chair a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. By the way, I want to address something real quick because I see it in the comments.
Yeah.
If I go into something, I understand. Hold on, because I almost fucking pricked my fucking finger. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, wardrobe change, 100%. All right, cool. No, I gotta get the flag up here, man. Gotta have the flag. Anyway, welcome back. Damn, see that I look like sex now. Like before, I didn't feel like I looked like sex. Now I look like sex. Anyway, what I wanted to say to you, Landy, but before we go, with my thoughts here. See, Drew comes in and he says, "Bleep is dog shit. Try to help you push it, but you are slacking." Respectfully, you all can suck my dick. I just want to tell you that respectfully. Because it's always me who's out there pushing something in terms of talking about something, not really pushing, okay? Trying to show you guys how to bag work. And you guys don't know how to bag work, okay? And you suck. And then you wait for me to be exit liquidity. So I don't give a shit. I have a mentality now like I am trading. And if this shit doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Yeah, I ain't gonna say this shit anymore. I'm done. I've said it 3 times, 4 times on this program. I'm not saying it for you guys. Until you guys start bag working, until you guys take the lunch pails and you go out there and you work, I ain't saying a goddamn thing. I'm moving on to the next one. That's what hey, don't matter. Let it be garbage. I still make money. I can be, I have this new attitude now. I'm gonna tell you something. I have this new attitude. I can be 2 and 1,000. And I mean, like, my record could be 2 wins and 1,000 losses. But guess what? Those 2 wins, I guarantee you, offset the 1,000 losses. And I ain't working for your bags either. Ooh, it feels so good to say that. It feels so good after years of just, saying, I am not going to work for your bags. Either we're going to work together or we're out, all of us. We're all out. That's right. Sorry, Landy. I know you're on mute and you're probably like saying stuff.
I was just chatting with the folks over on TikTok in the DMs
Um,
because, for those that send me DMs on TikTok, I apologize. I don't actually read the DMs on TikTok. I there's a lot of, like, advertisement. I followed people back, and then they're trying to sell me on no crap, trying to sell me on courses. I'm like, You're gonna what? No. Like, stop this." I'm not
I
kidding,
got,
by the way.
I, look, I got this kid so mad.
I can't see the chat.
Uh,
Oh, wait, I can maybe look through here. Oh, I
I got
see.
him mad.
I see them. Yeah.
No, you know what it is? Like they don't want to bag work. Like nobody wants to bag work. They want me to do it. So like when the win comes, like which it did, I was a hero. When this is why when Grant Cardone came out and said he's gonna try to go and put out this meme token. Do you remember this? It happened a few days ago. Grant
Well,
Cardone came out, said he's gonna think about putting out a meme token, and I
you
ran
know
into
what
his
that's in reference to, right?
yeah, of
It's in
course,
reference
100%.
to the, to to, uh to
Yes,
a
yes,
Bitcoiner who is
yes,
launching a lot of tokens,
yes.
and I think that there has been a little bit of a
537
crouch.
tokens.
Huh?
537 tokens to be exact.
I think there was a new one that just launched, right? So that's
Oh,
yeah, so maybe we're up to 530. I don't really know. But
but Grant Cardone came out and he was thinking, and I went into that tweet and I said, "Don't do it." And when people have asked me in the past, "Why don't you launch your own token?" I'm like, "Do you understand the crackheads in crypto? Like, they're not gonna let you build out a token. Like, that's not happening. They judge success by the market cap. Market cap is what is deemed to be success. It's not if there's, if you can build out the greatest protocol or project in the world. They're not going to care. They care about that number. If that number does not say millions within 3 days, then you suck. And then you're a scammer, and then you're a grifter, and then and so and so and so forth. Why would you ever want to put yourself through this stuff? I know it's only particularly on X where you get this heat, right? It's not on any other, like you go to TikTok, you go to, I don't know, you can go on to other social media platforms, you don't have that. X will, within 3 days, if you launch a project within 3 days, if the shit doesn't work out, you are a scammer, your parents left you, you're a grifter, you're broke, or everything in the book. Meanwhile, these are the same people that made money. That's the problem. They made money on the entire ordeal. Yet, you're the scammer. See, the real extractors to me, Landy, no matter what anybody wants to say, the real extractors are the people that continue to yell, push it, push it, push it. And every time you push it, they take out profit. And then when it goes down, they say, well, look, he scammed. That's why you can't, like, it's very difficult. Maybe if you're on LinkedIn, you're on LinkedIn where there are more mature people, you could go ahead and do something like that.
I'd argue that LinkedIn is also a cesspool, but for very
I don't know.
different
I
reasons.
don't go on LinkedIn. I'm just saying. I'm thinking that maybe it's a little bit more mature. I don't know which social media platform is the maturest, okay, out of all. But at the end of the day, it's not X. Okay, X is not mature, and X has. You know what? I've been angry about this and I have tweeted about this also. What do you think? What do you think? You think X cracked down on crypto because it just felt like it? No. X cracked down on crypto because crypto itself was eating itself.
Well, yeah,
That's why. We had
look,
something nice on crypto. We had you do like on crypto Twitter, it was literally the town hall for cryptocurrency. Like whether it's you wanted to talk Bitcoin. And you know what? I've seen the pivot, by the way, by everybody. Now everybody's starting a Bitcoin space. I've seen the switch. Where people used to have meme token spaces and like random spaces, and now it's like Bitcoin Fridays, Friday Bitcoin, Tuesday night this Bitcoin, and it's all Bitcoiners that are getting into these chats. Have you noticed that or no?
Well, it's to attract the Bitcoiners because look, it's a bear market. So in a bear market, everybody wants to just focus on talking about Bitcoin because everything else is going to be a pump to exit until we actually get some real structural shifts in the market. And I've maintained this end of Q3 to Q4 is when I think that we'll start to find that macro low and start to actually shift structure. And I think that memes will run as soon as Bitcoin actually shifts macro structure, and they'll be kind of the canary in the coal mine that things are beginning to recover. And right now, honestly, I can understand why people that are in memes are are starting to become a lot more active in trying to court the Bitcoin side of things because they want to expand their audience for when this does occur, because I think it's going to be very similar to last market cycle.
Yeah, but it's not. You're not gonna get Bitcoiners
No.
into memes or altcoins. Like they will refuse. So like,
Eh,
these people will have a choice to make. Either they really convert into being Bitcoiners and silently trade memes, or your attempt to get any Bitcoin maxi. You think you'll get Mike Alfred into a meme? You guys are fucking stupid. Like that is not happening.
I
You,
mean,
well, you know what?
Mike has kind of made himself a meme at this point.
But
So
I'll say this though. I don't want to say the person's name. Actually, I can't say it, right? I'm not. It's not slander. It's true. The person admitted it. I had the guy Fred on the show. I didn't think he was shitcoining.
oh, wait. Hold
Hey,
on.
hold on.
It was public. He
Hold on.
publicly posted this. It's not like he was
Admit it.
hiding it the
Let me
entire
land
time.
though. Let me land real quick. I
Go
didn't
ahead.
think he was. I didn't think he was shitcoining. Okay. I can understand. Listen, Max Kaiser also made a shitcoin. So it's like I can understand whatever. You tried once or here or there, whatever. I didn't think it was at this level. Like I didn't think it was. So nothing would surprise me. Nothing would fucking surprise me at all.
Look, I
And that's the craziest part because you could gain an audience and then say, "Hey, we're bored tonight. Let's just fuck around," right? And hear somebody create something, right? Didn't he create the shift coin?
yeah, I think so. I think he created a
Okay,
bunch of different coins.
if he created the shit coin, like a shift coin, just a shit coin,
Mhm.
well, people are just bored and like, okay, fuck it, I'll give it a try, right?
Well, this is where this is how you know that it's true bear market vibes. This was on his timeline publicly available. It wasn't like it was hidden. It wasn't like it was unknown that he was, reposting these launches. It was already assumed at the time that he was probably behind these token launches anyway. I don't really understand why people are surprised by this kind of stuff. I don't really know what's going on. I was not here for a lot of the controversy, I guess. I don't really care. Like I'm a trader at the end of the day who's stacking crypto, Bitcoin first, obviously. I You ain't gonna shame me from taking profits. I take profits. I trade all your favorite stuff. I get into memes. I trade those too. I like to jump into the liquidity pools. You know, I think that um I think that at this point that this is all just infighting that's probably going to continue to occur until market conditions improve, right? And that's where I think, yeah, I see. Look, and for those that accuse everyone of being a scammer, that's like the most. It's like the lowest hanging fruit is accusing people of being scammers, and you can make that decision on your own. Like you go and you evaluate who is who and what they're doing and how they're moving in the space, and you determine whether or not you think they're a
Yeah.
scammer. But it is the lowest hanging fruit. And honestly, typically the real scammers always fight with other scammers, right? That's like the mainstay is they scammers call out scammers because scammers know scammers best, right? They understand the kind of grift that they're running, and then they start calling each other out. That's the biggest thing. And I don't know one way or another. I in terms of Bitcoin, I have strongly disagreed with Fred publicly, and in chats, over the years. I don't agree with his assessment of the market. But I don't know. Um, I don't know really anything about the situation. And when I looked at it from my not under really understanding what's going on between these different in groups, I looked at it and I'm looking at like the different tokens that were launched. I was like, yeah, I saw that on his timeline. Like, why is it everybody acting surprised? Like this is something new. Like it's all been there. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Like, do what you're gonna do. I'm out here trading and trying to keep people up to date on what my thoughts are on where the market's headed and what areas to pay attention to. Because at the end of the day, it should be less about infighting. If you're really here to make money, the bearish periods are when you want to accumulate and find value, because that's how you come out the other side of a bear market taking profits. And if you haven't already been here for a while, and let's say you're new or you went through a cycle and you didn't, make the money that you wanted to make, this is where the opportunity begins to present itself, is during the downtrends, right?
Yeah.
And if you're too busy fighting with people, then you're not actually, finding value in the market and accruing that value so that you can realize it later and become wealthy, right? So I think
I'm,
that's more important than anything else.
my strategy is very simple, and it might offend people. I'm taking profit.
Uh, I mean,
I kept it short and simple.
yeah, I take profit all the time on different positions. You know, me personally, I'm in, accumulation zone mode. Like when it hits accumulation zones, I'm trading. Obviously, I still trade traditional markets. I still trade crypto markets. But in this case, I'm waiting for opportunity to present itself. And like, and even in traditional markets, I was a bidder and a buyer of specific stocks off of the lows again, right? And I'll be a buyer again if it goes lower, for instance. We had a beautiful
You know,
recovery.
to me, it's funny though. Like I watch this space and people think like somebody has motion, right? I've been here long enough to understand what the word motion means, right? I understand what motion is. Everything's set. Everything's set up for somebody to look like they have motion. It's very simple. It really is. Like I've watched for the last 3 weeks. I've watched it for the last 3 weeks.
The notion of
Period.
motion is dead on X, though. That
There's no motion on X. Elon can't move a tweet. I mean, he can't move a meme. Like Elon, the richest man in the world, who owns this platform, who has massive reach, can't move a meme. Who do you think is gonna have motion? I'm being serious. Like, you know where motion comes from? Money. Like if you put your own money into it.
Hold on. I'm gonna actually disagree.
No, hold
Because
on.
everyone looks like they have motion in a freaking bull market. All right. That's the difference. The
No,
bear
but
market
like
exposes those who can't actually move things because they don't have the money to do it and they don't have the backing to do it.
that's where I'm going though. Like if you have money, like if I have 100 grand on me right now, right? If I put it into a token right now, where's that token going at 100 grand?
Yeah. Well, 100 grand's not going to do much in this kind of a market environment, right?
If I put 100 grand into a token, what I mean by this is if a token's at like 5K and I put 100 grand into it, Landy, what happens to it?
Oh yeah, you'll pop it up to a significant market cap, and you'll
And
get
then
a
people
bunch
are gonna
of people
go
want
in,
to come
right?
in.
And they're gonna
Yeah,
be like, "Oh, David got motion." No, David got money.
yeah. No, I get it. I get what you're getting at.
David got money. It has nothing to do with motion.
Well,
Like,
motion is the
yeah, I got a brand,
sustainability.
but like that don't mean nothing. Like if I don't put, you got to put 100 motherfucking grand into something, and this shit's gonna move, and people are gonna say, "Oh shit, he got motion," and they're gonna fucking throw themselves into there, and that's what I'm trying to explain is that's what's happening. People are taking 50 grand, they're putting it into some shit that's at 4 or 5K dead. The shit starts to move, okay, because of the money being injected. Everybody's chasing now, getting out of positions that they're holding or been holding for months. They get in and they get destroyed because they're pulling out the 50 grand plus profits. Y'all, and they're leaving a moon bag too. And you guys can go ahead and continue with this. That's all that's happening.
Yeah. The only difference now is that in a bearish period, you don't get enough money in to keep that sustainably going to the upside.
Yeah, but Lanny, they don't give a
Whereas
fuck. If they
in a
put
bull
50 grand
market,
in and they take 20 grand out plus,
yeah,
oh,
but
what do you
that
mean like 50 plus 20? They
but
don't care.
but in a bull market, that would be perceived as motion because it would continue up and they'd be pulling out 1,000,000 or a couple million.
Yeah, of course.
And
But,
that's
this
where
is how the
market
game is played, though, like, that's sad.
yeah. Well, that I mean, that it's not really that much different in the stock market either,
I get
right?
it. My thing is, like, hey, like, I like going into things, let's bag work. There's nothing wrong with bag working. I bag work Bitcoin. Like, there's nothing wrong with the word bag working. Like, you going out there telling people to buy Bitcoin, what is that called?
Smart.
Besides being smart, what is that called? It's bag working, like, you're working for your bags.
I know what you're going for. Look,
Bottom
sure,
line. And
sure.
it's in this space, working for your bag is seen as taboo. Oh,
Well,
look,
it's
he's
because
talking about something. Yeah, Dick. If I own Tesla stock, I should talk about it also. If I bought a new car, I'm going to talk about my new car. If I bought a new property, I'm talking about the new property. Yeah, you should talk about these things. We need more bag workers, okay? We need more people that are working for their bags, okay? Otherwise, what's the point? What
here's
is
the
the point?
difference.
One person cannot do anything. One person, it has always been built on communities rallying together. Whatever you think about the word community and rallying together, I am telling you, without a community coming together and seeing something or deeming it to be worth anything, nothing happens.
Here's
Nothing happens. It doesn't. You can have Jesus promoting you can have Jesus and Moses promoting the bag. Nothing's happening if nobody's coming along with them.
I understand what you're saying, but also what this is what killed crypto Twitter is that it was incessant spamming of those bags, and that is lazy work.
No, I'm not talking about that,
But that's what
Landy.
happened. But that's what happened. No, no, we gotta
I'm
talk
not
about
talking about
reality.
the
That's what
fucking
happened.
spammers, though. I'm talking about like,
That's all they do.
but hold on. Bag working to me is number one. If you have a meme, you create. I'm going to use a meme. Okay, I'm not going to use anything else right now. Okay, I'm going to use meme. If you create a meme, you build a community. You kill the community that you build one that sees this the vision. The vision has to be there. Like, and there has to be some emotional attachment to the meme itself. And the ones that actually do well, they pop off a month or two from the time that the meme was actually created. So,
Sure.
but right now you're building a community that actually believes in this meme, and then the markets will decide whether or not the meme is good enough to go ahead and send.
Okay.
That's what I've always believed. With
I'm gonna
theory,
give it
whatever. Let's get away from memes. I'm just any
I'm gonna give a
fucking
harsh
product.
dose of reality here, though. Everyone's on board with the community. Everyone's on board with the community until they hit that target, that where they want to take profit and then they don't want to have anything to do with it anymore.
But you should take profit.
No,
You
but
should
that's the
take
point.
profit.
Is they'll be a community member only insofar as to get to the goal of making that money, and then they are no longer a community member. And this is the inherent problem in the meme coin community, is that it's not about seeing it through for the longevity. It's seeing it through until their bag is at a size in which they want to take profit, and then they don't care anymore, right? Because now they're quote unquote rich, and
Yeah.
that's where that's my biggest gripe with memes in general, is that it's not real community. It's performative community in most cases. Not all cases, but most cases, it's purely performative. It's all like, we're going to work for this. We're going to run it up and everything's going to be amazing and it's going to keep going and everybody's going to realize a ton of profit. And we're working hard. We're making memes. We're doing all this, we're congregating, we're getting spaces together and live streams and all this other crap. But the moment that some of the bigger ones start to actually realize profit, it all begins to falter because no one really has the conviction outside of making themselves rich. There's nothing else there for them other than the realization of profits. And that's not a scam. That is just the way that a market works, as people realize profits and they move on to the next thing. But what happens is this becomes tiresome over time, especially in a bull market where you exhaust the community's liquidities, and every time you get one runner, you become a community member. Anybody who sticks around hoping that it's going to come back is realizing that community's actually moved on to other things and now are part of that community, and then so on. It's just community hopping until
Yeah.
they either make money, and then everyone that's left is just a bag holder, and the majority end up as bag holders. And it's not trading. It is more on the gambling side of trading at that point, because you're not putting you're pinning your potential future gains to the fundamentals of a network. You're not pinning it to the fundamentals of even supply and demand. You're pinning it to the hopes and dreams of community work instead of the underlying economics of that token and
Well,
of
but
and
Landy,
that's the problem.
memes are different. There's no expectation. It's just
No, there
memes are
is an
always
expectation.
no. Hold on. Memes memes have no expectations. I know what you're gonna say. It's profit, but like what I'm saying is there's nothing to build.
I
Like
know.
you can build a swap or whatever. Like you can. Okay,
I know
great.
there's nothing to build. It wouldn't be a meme anymore.
Exactly. Like there's nothing to build. There's nothing. It's just it's a meme, A- and that's
So
what it
it's
is. Don't
always
talk
gonna be
about
subject to
utility.
the trend.
I'm just saying, don't talk about the only utility within the meme is a community, and like that's special though because if you can build a base, it's hard to build. Hold on, like think you guys have to hold on, Landy. I know you hate memes. Hold on one second.
No, I'm gonna take the
Hold on.
piss out of one of the biggest memes in the game in just a moment.
L- memes are cool. You know, I'll explain why. You know how hard it is for businesses to build a crowd? Like real
Yeah.
businesses, you know how hard it is for them to build an audience, a base that will take on their product? Here you
Mhm.
have memes and communities that are building that base. And that's special because like I'll give you the example again. Dogecoin built a hardcore base. I was in there. And all these Fortune 500 companies went knowing that it's decentralized. Anybody can go ahead and use the logo because nobody owned the fucking trademark to it. They went ahead and took that and put it onto their products, which would drive more people to their products, which it did. Slim Jim had an uptick. Axe body spray had an uptick. Okay.
Sure.
So like there is a there lies the utility. I will argue that, and I will argue this whether it was on national TV or here on this show or on any podcast, that memes do have a reason. The world is a meme. There is meme culture, which is bigger than anything on the planet. Meme culture is big. Every single day there's a meme created. I'll give you an example. Marco Rubio, every single day there's a meme created of him sitting on the couch. And
Sure.
he's taking on a new role, whether it's the role of a new head coach, he's the president of Cuba. Like, that's a meme, right? It makes us laugh. It gives us it makes us feel some sort of way. So people that actually take on these memes, let's say people that actually take on memes, teams, right, or a collective group that take on memes and have good intentions, they can really build something phenomenal, which can then lead to people buying Bitcoin. I believe that.
That's the
I've
only
seen it.
utility there is for memes, is make them all Bitcoiners by rugging the shit out of them.
But
Because
you
here's
see, like, that's the Bitcoin maxi mentality.
no, it's not a
It-
Bitcoin maxi
Hold
mentality.
on.
There is
Hold
no
on.
team getting into memes. Hold on, there is no damn
You're not
team,
letting
and
me
you cannot
finish.
convince me that
You're
there's a
not letting
team
me
that's
finish.
getting into memes.
How could I
It's not a
convince you if you
charity.
won't
It's
let me finish?
economics. It's economics. It's
You're
not a
not letting
damn
me
charity.
finish, though. A lot of these people don't give a fuck. A lot of these people are in these memes and they don't give a fuck about the gains. I've met them. They don't care. They're
They are,
successful outside of the space. They don't
and
care
that's why
about.
they haven't made money.
But hold on. You see, your thing and my thing could be like you come in here and you make gains. A lot of people, they'll take and buy, I don't know, 0.25% of the supply, whatever it is, just to participate. They'll buy 10,000 tokens, whatever, and it's meaningless.
It's not a
They're
charity.
more so interested in being a part of the community, and they might be trying to get into the community so they can sell their products to the community that they're in. Like that. This is where a lot of people lose sight of memes. Like, really, like, if you can use the meme and that community, and you build that ecosystem within it, and everybody, like, if I have a business, I come in there and say, hey, like, I have a business, I sell. Now you have people from your community that you're a diehard of who can pay you in that to purchase your product or Bitcoin. I'm telling you, I've seen people from, and I'm gonna keep on using this example. I've been in Dogecoin forever. I've seen people who had no clue what the fuck Bitcoin is, were not interested in Bitcoin. I've seen them within months. Dogecoin didn't rug them. I've seen them go into Bitcoin because they understood what a hard asset is. It was explained to them correctly. They had time to understand what the fuck is happening with our current monetary system in its current setup. They got to read and research about Bitcoin while being in a meme. And they went into Bitcoin. Do they hold as much Dogecoin, let's say hypothetically, as they did beforehand? Maybe not. They still hold, but maybe more of their purchases have gone to Bitcoin. That's okay, because ultimately, don't we want everybody using Bitcoin? Don't we want everybody in Bitcoin?
Sure. Dogecoin, I think, is not a good example of a meme because
It
it's an
is
actual
a meme.
functioning
It's a
network.
meme. It's a meme.
It's
It's a
also a
meme.
functioning network that has
I get it,
the
but it's still
ability
a meme.
you have the ability to transact on. You have the ability to mine
Bitcoiners
it.
continue to call, yeah, Bitcoiners. Okay, Bitcoin maxis always destroyed Dogecoin. They've literally destroyed it in 2021 when Mark Cuban came in and said he had it. They destroyed Elon when he said he had it. Yes, it's a network, 100%. We all know it, but like, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about Litecoin either, right? Litecoin is a great network. They
Mm.
don't care about it.
I mean, look, these
Wouldn't you?
okay.
Wouldn't you say, hey, tip your cap to Litecoin? Like, if you're a normal person, Litecoin has done a lot of great
I
stuff.
trade the shit out of Litecoin.
Okay, a lot
I
of people
own
trade the
Litecoin.
shit out of. A lot of people trade the shit out of Litecoin. A lot of people use Litecoin for transactions.
Yep.
Why aren't we talking about Litecoin? Why isn't Litecoin
Because
propped up?
it functionally has a very low a very low use case in comparison to other bigger cryptocurrencies at the moment. And but it persists, right? And you're correct in your assessment that people still
Landing
use
transactions are
Litecoin.
the key, right?
Yeah, it's people still use Litecoin. That's the thing. And when you look at the actual transactions and you look at the block, the blocks being mined and that kind of stuff, it's still chugging along. That can be said of many different networks. Here's the difference, though. Dogecoin, it's a network. You can transact value on that network. It has things that are being built directly on that chain. And Dogecoin, I want to point out, it never saw another all-time high because Shiba Inu took its shine. And this is literally just,
What do you mean?
and
It
then
went to
Shiba
all-time
Inu
high
didn't
with
make a
Shiba
new
Inu.
all-time
What are you
high.
talking about?
Shib,
They both went to all-time highs
no,
at
they
the same
no,
year.
no, 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 they didn't. I can show you in
They
the charts.
did.
I've done this before. You
Go
had
look.
No, I have it right here, first off, because
Go
I
look.
always make sure that
Doge went to 77 cents,
yeah, and then
and
it did not make a new all-time high when SHIB made a
and
new
Shiba
all-time
Inu
high
didn't
that later
either.
that year. And then now this past cycle, neither one of them made new all-time
But that's
highs.
what I'm saying. They both made all-time highs the same year.
Yeah, well, you had early in the year, you had Dogecoin made a new all-time high, and then later in the year when Bitcoin made a new higher high at 69K, Dogecoin didn't even attempt to make a new all-time
But
high.
that's not the
Instead, it was
point.
SHIB.
Uh,
Well, let me
that's not the
finish.
point.
Let me finish because it is my point here. Is this cycle, this past cycle, neither one of them made a new all-time high. Instead, you had Pepe come in and steal a lot of the thunder, and then its entire narrative got eaten. And this is my point about communities. You have this community until people exit, and then there is no, the only community left is a bunch of bag holders hoping that it's going to go to a new all-time high again when the narrative has moved on to other things,
You
other
don't think
memes in
Doge
this
hold
case.
on, you don't think Dogecoin and Shiba Inu hit new all-time highs?
They You had an all-time high for, I'm going to tell you right here, on on May of 2021, you had Dogecoin made an all-time high of, we had 76 cents. Shiba Inu, and by the way, remember that was when Bitcoin was at $65,000. Later that year, when Bitcoin made another new all-time high at 69, instead of Dogecoin running and making a new all-time high, instead later that year it topped out at 35 cents. Okay, what
Hold
instead
on.
made a
Do
new
you
all-time
know
high?
what? Hold on.
SHIB,
It went backwards. Do you know why it went backwards? Are you
because
gonna
SHIB
at least say why?
ate the narrative. It ate the
What?
narrative up. It took all the air
No,
out of the
you
room.
had Barry and company shorting the
No,
fuck out of it.
no. You had
Oh
SHIB
my
stole the
god.
shine. Uh,
Bro.
I
You
know
gotta
this.
be fucking kidding me,
I've got
man.
the actual charts right in front of me because
That's
I can
great.
prove it
Look
to
at the
you.
charts. When Barry came out and tweeted, guys, you had your fun with Dogecoin. Now I would recommend for you to rotate into Bitcoin because we're gonna short it to
No,
hell. Yeah. As soon as
Dogecoin,
Elon went on fucking Saturday Night Live, it was over. They started shorting the fucking thing to hell.
and when you had later that year, what ran massively in terms of market cap in October of 2021 with Bitcoin, when Bitcoin made a new all-time high,
That's only because it got put onto Coinbase.
and it ran and made a new all-time high. Prior to that, in May, it was how much percent lower? It was already running, right? It
Shiba
was
Inu,
running in May.
Shiba was dead. Shiba Inu was dead. And then when it got listed on Coinbase, it flew. That's it. That's all
It
that
got
happened.
listed in May. It got listed in April and May, the same time that Dogecoin got its all-time high at 76
Shi-
cents.
It never went back. It never went back there.
Listen, Dogecoin was at
I
an
know
all-time
both.
high at 76 cents. SHIB launched and got listed around the same time period, within that time frame that Doge made a new all-time high. We went through the big drawdown. Bitcoin made a new all-time high later that year. Everybody was excited about Dogecoin and excited about SHIB. Only one of them made an all-time high then after that, and it was SHIB. Dogecoin didn't move. move on to the next market cycle. Neither one of them made new all-time highs. And instead, they got their narrative lunch eaten by things like Pepe and others. So my point is that the narrative moves on very quickly, and then the only community left there are the bag holders, because the people who took profit are moving on to the next narrative for the memes. That is my point. My point isn't Barry and this and that. Look, Barry did not have motion over who was trading in and out of Doge. Was he a big part of the Doge trade? Sure. Was he a big part of the SHIB trade? Sure.
They
But that's
all
the
started
same shit.
shorting it. What are you talking about? They started shorting it. People got nervous. They started to get out. Everybody was getting out. Like I
No,
was
it
watching
wasn't.
it.
It wasn't
plus
the
the
shorts
market
that
was
pushed
going
it down.
backwards.
It was the freaking. It was the spot selling that tanked it. It was the spot selling.
Landy,
The
there was
spot
so many things that
unwound
were
the
going
longs.
on. There was so many things that contributed to fucking Dogecoin collapsing. Like
And
literally
part of it
contributed
was
to
the
collapse.
leveraged positions on exchanges on the long side were got liquidated by the spot sellers. The short float on that was not huge. It was all of the long leveraged liquidations that occurred when Bitcoin slammed down from 65K to what was it, like 28 to $30,000.
What language am I speaking?
And what got shorted? Everything got shorted on the way down, but shorts weren't. It was the long unwind that took everything down, and the recovery
He
period.
literally came out and said, "You're about to get destroyed. Rotate to Bitcoin." Like,
And
I
what
don't know
happened?
what language I need to be
$65,000 to
speaking.
$30,000 is a substantial correction, isn't it? That's not when they
Everything
said it.
started to go backwards.
Yeah, and when everything recovered too.
I get it.
Into the fall.
And the altcoin. So we could talk about Chainlink, and we could talk about all these other things that never
Yeah,
recovered.
No, but my point to you is the quote unquote meme sector that got rolling got hit way harder. And then when the narrative rotated, it was all
Of
about
course,
what
the
the
memes are
hottest
going to get
narrative
hit
was.
harder. I'm not debating if the memes are going to get harder than the altcoins
I
or
think you're missing my
Bitcoin
point,
in
David.
general.
I think you're missing my point. And my
You
point
missed
is
my point.
no, I know what your point is, and I'm telling you that not only was I there and trading this stuff,
5.5
but I also
years,
know the
nothing has
anatomy of what
nothing has.
happened.
Dogecoin and Shiba Inu have not made all-time highs since Moses, part of the fucking Red Sea. Okay, like I
Yeah.
understand that.
Okay.
All
So then what
coins
are you
haven't
missing
done
about
shit
the
since
narrative moving on?
2022.
But my point is, what are you
Have
missing about
any
the narrative
altcoins
moving
have
on?
done besides 6 or 7 altcoins? Have any of the other altcoins have they done anything in this market since 2022?
They've all been range bound. But even then, the major memes that started it all couldn't even break out of half of their value.
How can they break out?
Because you had the entire meme sector go on a massive multi-billion-dollar run across
You're
various
talking
assets,
about the entire meme economy.
which actually, if that went into Doge and SHIB, guess what? They would have made new all-time highs.
Nobody's going into them because they found fucking Pump.Fun. What are we talking
You're
about?
getting it. You're getting it. Congratulations. Thank you. The narrative moves on quickly.
But hold on. I'm just telling you that retail is. Do I have to like rewind this and say retail is not here? You had a bunch of Fortnite kids who came in, and then you had the remaining retail that stood here and got destroyed. They were like, "Oh fuck!" Especially the ones who actually. Let me rewind. Not destroyed. The ones who actually made profit. They started chasing. Now they're broke. You have people chasing garbage off of Pump.Fun.
And you think they're going to stop chasing
people
garbage?
get out of Dogecoin, get out of Shiba Inu, and rotate into dog shit. Literally, no pun intended.
Yeah, I know. Dog shit was the ticker for a little while. But the point being,
that's what happened.
That's going to be the narrative every time for memes.
Okay,
this is the way the meme economy works.
I think moving forward, you'll see just like Zcash popped off, and I'm not a Zcash shill, okay? I didn't get paid by Zcash, but like Zcash and all these things that slowly started to pop up, and yeah, they popped up for a few seconds. I believe maybe a year from now, you will see the resurgence of the old school memes because people will say, you know what? I already see it, Landy, on the timeline. I've already talked to people. They're like, I'm tired of this shit. I've seen people rotate into Ethereum in the past week because they're tired. Some people that are rotating in, they're meeting Jared, the fucking Subway bot, for the first time. All I'm saying is, give it enough time. People are going, you know what? This is like ordinals on Bitcoin, right? People are screaming, oh my God, no, no, no. We can't have this. Shut it down. Tell the miners no. And ordinals are breaking Bitcoin, which is good because it's being tested and then you can fix it and you can understand how to make it better. It's great. Great. I think ordinals, forget about owning an ordinal. I think ordinals did a great job to make Bitcoin even better. You will see that a lot of people will rotate back into the original real memes in the next 6 to 12 months because they will say, you know what? I'm done with this dog shit. But I can say, though, once they get into or get back into the OG memes, as soon as they make profit, you're going to have somebody that's going to say, hey, let's spin up something from Pup.fun. And then slowly.
My point. And that's going to continue to happen. That's going to be headwinds for every single major OG meme out there. And that was the headwinds when Doge and Shiba Inu were coming off the lows in the bear market. What happened is as soon as people started to make money again, they rotated into Pepe and other types of meme coins. And then those became the narrative. The dominant narrative is what is going to take over for that particular market cycle. That is memes in a nutshell right there. And I think this is funny. Landy just farms charts, literally promoting not holding your investment.
I was gonna say this for you. First of all,
it's bullshit.
This is what I'm talking about. You guys don't know how to take profit. Okay, Landy doesn't farm charts. Landy comes on here. Here's the difference. This is where you guys need to fucking stop being little females, man. I got respectfully to females. It is, when I say females, it's a New York City term. Okay, it's not. It's terminology from New York City. It's not. It's like me saying bitch. It's not gender specific. Like it's just me saying you are being a bitch. Let me just say it like that. You are being a bitch. Okay, respectfully, David. And I like you because you're from the Rage community. I'm with Rage. I like Rage. Rage on, brother. But at the end of the day, Landy's here to make money. Landy's not here to be your friend. Okay? Landy's goal every day when he wakes up is I'm going to trade the shit out of the charts and I'm going to make money. That's the way you should be. That's the focus you should have. I'm not saying you can't believe in something. Landy believes in Bitcoin more than anything else. Great. You can believe in Rage more than anything else. You could. That could be your thing. I respect it. But at the end of the day, Landy is here to make money. A lot of you guys round trip your shit because you want to have diamond hands. We're all going to make it. It doesn't exist. It's nice to have diamond hands, but at some point it's nice to scale the fuck out too. You got bills to pay and you came here, you quit your goddamn job at IHOP, surfing fucking coffee, decaf, or regular, flipping pancakes because you thought you could go ahead and have an opportunity to go ahead and make millions. Okay? Landy quit fucking IHOP to come in here. And look what he's doing. He quit IHOP. He's trading. He ain't got to be serving your ass or asking you whether you want decaf or regular. Some of you motherfuckers are going back to fucking McDonald's, Burger King, and Five Guys. Depending on which Five Guys, too. I'm just saying. That's what I'm talking about when you crucify people for coming on here and they go into a play, they announce it, and they tell people this is what I'm doing, and then all of a sudden, when people pull out profit, oh, grifter, extractor, this, that, shut your mouth. David, I'm not talking to you about that. I'm talking to anybody this applies to. No, that is a person that is taking profits, okay? That is a person that understands, look, this chart is not going up forever, and I have to scale out respectfully out of this motherfucker and move on to the next thing, okay? And if this goes down and there's potential it can go back up, I'll buy it back again, have it go back up, and make money on it again. Those are real traders, okay? They ain't here to be liked. They're not trying to be your friend. You guys are never hanging out in real life, okay? You're not getting together on Thanksgiving, okay? That's the real deal. That's what's happening. And if you don't like it, pivot to fucking AI or to pivot to IHOP.
And let me address something here real quick. So, AJ, I literally tell people how I trade markets. I'm very open about that. And I'm not saying that memes aren't going to run. They're absolutely going to run. And in fact, I've talked to David about this here on the show live and many other places, that memes are going to be the canary in the coal mine, that the market is turning around and starting to enter a bull market period. And they're going to do so with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin starts to actually break structure, just like last market cycle, you will see memes will be the first movers with Bitcoin, even ahead of all of the other majors. In terms of percentage gains, they will start to run and absolutely pop off left and right. My point to David, and where we're debating back and forth, is that I am a firm believer that profit rotates to the newest, hottest thing in memes, rather than back to the old reliables. And that is what I am talking about. Look, I've been trading memes since memes were memes. I was in Dogecoin very early on. Got to remember, Dogecoin was launched in 2013, I believe. And I was in Litecoin, Dogecoin. I was in all of your favorite shit, right? I'm a Bitcoiner and I'm wearing the Bitcoin crown, but I'm a Bitcoiner first. I don't discriminate when it comes to other things. I go to all of the different alts, all of the different memes, and I trade them. I take my profit and I buy Bitcoin with at least every single one of my trades. And I've talked about this for years is with David. 50% of all of my trade profits go to buying Bitcoin immediately at any price. The other 50% goes into stables. And then I move on to the next trade. And I've been trading with profits for years doing this. And it's benefited me and being able to accumulate a substantial stack of the things that I want to hold long term. I prefer to hold the majors long term, obviously heavily weighted towards Bitcoin. And then I get into memes and then I jump out when I get profit and I move on to the next damn thing. And then I'll go back if I see that the narrative's turning around on that meme that I got out of. And if it's got some life and it's on the lows and I see that there's opportunity there and something's cooking, I see social still going, community still there, I'll get back in. My point to David, which, he, I think, agrees with part of the point and disagrees strongly with the other part, is that when there's a massive run in a particular meme, it usually has that massive run and then it's kind of over. Even though it might run again, it's usually the bigger part of the run is typically over, because usually it's being usurped by another narrative, because memes are narrative focused. They're social focused, right? And that's the way that I've traded it. I've been very successful. And not only that, I'd like to remind everyone, I called the damn top on memes and I got crucified for it. I called it early. I said when it was going to happen. And when it happened, everyone stayed in denial. And I stayed firm on my position that it was over. And then it wasn't until everybody was 90% down from the highs that everyone was like, oh, I guess you were right about that. Yeah, no shit. Because some of us have been here for a long time and we know how the market cycles work and how the liquidity rotates. And we understand where to go to look to watch it rotate, more importantly, because it's not something unique to OGs in the space. There's so many tools at people's disposal to see where liquidity is going that, I mean, look at half of your meme communities. What are they doing? They're monitoring whale wallets all over the place to see if they're getting in, then what next thing they're getting in. And then they go and they chase into that thing. And typically they're being end around and baited, especially in time periods like this. They're being baited by those whale wallets that go into tokens. They follow them in and then they're just used as exit liquidity, because the majority of the tokens have already been bought by the whale wallets. They're getting into the liquidity pools. They're starting to get out through the liquidity pools. They do more bids on one side. They get out through the liquidity pool on the other. And then they'll just start selling on your forehead all the way down, right? I mean, you can look at Rave and, oh, well, it snapped back. Yeah, no shit. But the majority of people were up there buying at the high. Like, that's the point. Is like, okay, yeah, you could get the beautiful snapback, but you better be paying attention and you better be trading it well. You better be looking at the liquidity and seeing how the wallets are moving, or else it's a bigger gamble than going in and understanding how to actually trade the majors. Right? There's people who would actually be that are in memes, in my opinion, that would be way better if they actually traded something with
You see,
stable
hold
liquidity.
on. Let me address this cocksucker right now. Satoshi Nakamoto says this from TikTok. This cocksucker. David sells on his community. You believe this fucking shit? Without Landy, David's cooked.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Like, here's a fucking cocksucker who deserved to go ahead and be swallowed. Okay? Here's a guy. If anybody knows anything about me, I fucking hold. But now, starting like fucking yesterday, no more. Like, David is not your fucking exit liquidity. That cocksucker, okay, right there. Like I said, mom should have used Plan B on his ass. Walking condom commercial. That guy right there. That's why people retired off of social media. That's why the realest ones retired, because we would hold up communities and cocksuckers like him would sell on it and then say the motherfuckers holding are selling. This is the guy. And then he's going to DM me fucking tickling my balls and he's going to say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I just wanted to go ahead and make the chat spiceful. I hope you lose all your fucking money. Sorry, go ahead.
Nah, I mean, look, I have a very specific way that I view the markets. Not everyone's going to agree. You don't have to. One of the things that I will say is I've been very successful in growing my portfolio for a long time. For me, that doesn't mean anything to you. But for me, the way that I view the markets has played out time and time again. And I don't see this changing in the future. In fact, I think that the newest opportunities are going to be when we have all of these larger asset under management companies and I, and even the main exchanges from TradFi starting to tokenize on chain. I think that that is going to provide for some of the biggest opportunities in cryptocurrency. If you want to make money, I think that that is where a lot of money is going to be made, because they are going to utilize um, those stock tokens and RWAs, which there is a difference under various legal frameworks, whether you're looking at the EU or the United States. And I think that that liquidity needs to be paired when they actually take the stock token on chain. It has to have liquidity. That's where you're going to see robust liquidity enter crypto. And that's really what we've been missing. And I think that's going to benefit all of crypto, the majors and the memes and everything else. It's going to provide for just a massive liquidity injection into the space in its entirety via the vector of having to provide liquidity for those stock tokens. And I think that that is the next major phase for crypto. And I think that if you aren't paying attention now and positioning yourself accordingly, that you'll end up chasing all of that as well. So be happy that you're here now and paying attention now, versus when you start hearing about how Larry Fink and BlackRock have tokenized all of their equities products in their portfolios on chain, right? Because that's, by the time you hear about it, it's going to be near the highs or around the highs, and you're probably going to be trading in the last 6 months of a run instead of the very early stage when you have the most potential to make the most amount of money. Not financial advice.
Welcome to Tuesday Live. If you didn't check out Landy's market update yesterday, you could do that today, right now, if you're looking for value. Go tune in. It was live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, breaking down the markets, 9 p.m. again Eastern Standard Time. As always, Landy, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. It's a pleasure to go ahead and chat it up with you, man.
Yes, sir. I do appreciate it. And I like I love debating this stuff, you know that. And I
I know.
appreciate you, David. Thank you for having me, as always.
I definitely appreciate you, and thank God you're here because without you, I wouldn't be anything.
Yeah, okay. Take care, David.
I love you, bro.
Love you too, brother. Take care.
Welcome, welcome to the live show. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Sponsored by Midnight. Title sponsor also Polymarket. Cake Wallet. Big shout out to Cake Wallet. I see Vic. Vic is out there. We gotta bring Vic. We gotta bring you on. I see you doing the podcast with Seth. That's cool. But we'll be right back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to the show. It is 142. You know, sometimes the meme economy reminds me of what the NFT market went through. Like this particular run on memes has reminded me of what the NFT market was like in 2021. Because you had memes that were really cool, like the punks and Bored Apes, doodles, a lot of these memes that popped off that made sense, and then you had people see that, you know, to them in their heads they were like, yo, I missed this, and they ran off to Fiverr to get artwork done, and they created NFTs, and then people started to jump into other NFTs that like people had no intention of building out, and boom. You know, and I feel like the same thing has happened here within the meme economy, where you had really dope memes like Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Pepe, Bobo, Apu, Fuck, SPX. I can keep going. There's a lot of really good memes. What else? You have Brett of MFers. Like I can name it out. Like there are a lot of good memes, and if to me the mentality is if people do not get in top 50, they don't give a fuck about the mission to send it to billions. They're like, fuck this. I want to be top 50 of nothing. And they'll create a token to be top 50 of nothing. And then it saturates the market. Liquidity spread thin. There's already no liquidity in the current meme economy. So like now everything's spread thin. And it just reminds me of what the NFT market was like. Obviously, there's more liquid in memes than there is in the NFT market, but still, that's what really, in my mind, that's what's happening. That is exactly what's happening here. 100%. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. If people would just rally around one thing, like that's why Pepe was cool during the bear market. People say, no, it happened during the bull. You can say that we transitioned into a bull market structure, but we were still in a hell of a fucking bearish market mentally. Oh, we could talk about it. I remember this. I remember going to NFT NYC when Pepe came out, and it was just like people were dreading to even go to NFT NYC. People were just dreading to even be there. Nobody was having fun. The market really brought people to their knees and shit. But what happened that was cool with Pepe was a bunch of people rallied around one asset. That's it. People just rallied around one thing. Did people go into other things? Yeah, but they were like OG memes. So people were like, okay, this is like a beta to Pepe. No problem. I'll get into it because, people rotate. People love to rotate. Fine. And people love to trade. Hey, but as long as you have Pepe and you skim some profit and you take initials and profit and you can make some money. And that's what was happening. But there was 30 room on X, on Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There were rooms, 30 rooms, 20 to 30 rooms open at the same time. It was a blast. It was fun. People had fun. People were doing the Macarena. People were DJing. People were making songs. People were singing. People were interacting with each other. People who didn't even know each other were becoming friendly with each other. That was a vibe. That was a fucking vibe. It was a cool vibe because that's what memes bring to the table, because they don't have utility except for vibing the fuck out, vibing off, looking at memes that make you feel some sort of way, and then you have a community and you're just meeting people. And it's dope. Dope as fuck. Greed sets in, man. Greed sets in. You see what happens. Look, we have 31 million tokens. Who the fuck needs 31 million tokens? And it got so bad that last week everybody started to transition back to Ethereum memes, and they found old contracts that they're going into. I've went into one or two. I went into one or two old contracts that looked like they were about to pop. I just went into, and I got scolded by somebody. Oh my God, IP to what? IP to what? I don't give a fuck about IPs. Respectfully, I don't care about your IP. As a market participant, that's not my problem. I don't care. I said this yesterday, and I say this respectfully. I don't care about your IP. Your IP has nothing to do with me for making a profit. Troll has the IP. The Troll on Solana has the IP to the artwork for Troll. Guess what? There was an Ethereum Troll that went up into the millions. Do you think that what you're telling me I can't trade? I can't participate in that as a market participant. I can't participate. Of course I can. Of course I can. I'm gonna make money there, and then I might get more Troll on Solana. What are we talking about? That's what I'm talking. Like that is exactly why I'm like, yo, people are poor because they make poor decisions. Okay, that's why they're poor. They make very poor decisions because they're, oh my god, it's against the constitution of the crypto space. And what the fuck are you talking about? We are in a different environment and you have to adjust. Is it cool that somebody's trying to vamp the one that's actually sent? No, it's not cool. But if there's money to be made, like, how are you not? How it's a free market and anybody could do. See, this is what I said. The markets dictate, the markets dictate who wins. Okay. The market tells you and will always tell you who wins. That's it. As much as I love something that I'm in right now, let's say I get into a meme. Let's say I get into some random meme. Hypothetically, let's say I went into troll. Okay. I'll give you this. Actually, no, Apu's here, right? Let's say I let's say I got into Apu on Ethereum, which I have. Let's say I have Apu on Ethereum. And then an Apu on Sol comes out. Me going into an Apu on Sol is not spitting on Apu on Ethereum. I know, number one, that Apu on Sol will never make it because you cannot recreate what Apu on Ethereum has already made. It's the same way when people try to vamp the Bobo Council. You can't recreate what Rek Takashi has created for a community. You can't recreate the Bobo Bros cannot be recreated. You can't. You can 95,000 attempts. You can't recreate a community. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is here, I can be in a pool on ETH, but I can also take money, right? And this stops any chance from anything popping off. I can go into the pool on Solana, I'll make money there, and then I'll take that money and I'll get more Apu. It's like when they were doing that shit with Pepe 2.0, 3. I go in there, make money, and get more Pepe. All the vamps are doing is giving me more money to put that money into the original. I'm not leaving the OG community. And the only reason why people create these OGs is, number one, they know you don't see people recreate dog shit. No, they won't recreate any dog shit. But they'll see a community over there and their hope is, oh, I can maybe steal some people who think they're not top 50. So psychologically, maybe they'll come over here on Solana, this, that, and the third, right? Meanwhile, you don't understand, man. Like, again, I'll go into these things. I don't say a word. I won't say a word. I'll go in, I'll take money. And if you want to call that extraction, no. I'm doing you a favor. I'm doing the OG meme a favor. I'm fucking making money there and I am putting it right back into the shit that I'm in. This is chess, not checkers, bitch. Crazy, man. How people don't get that, I don't know. How people don't understand, can't wrap their heads around that, I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't. You wouldn't have so many vamps. You wouldn't have so many vampire attacks, if you want to call them vamps. You wouldn't have that if technology didn't evolve the way it did. Now that nobody has the fucking code, now nobody knows Solidity. You don't have to know Solidity. You don't have to get audit checks. You don't have to take LP, lock it up. You don't have to go through all these things to go ahead. You don't have to worry about security checks. And what I mean by that is your contract's good. Nobody can go ahead and take anything out. Now it's so fucking simple. Your little brother can do it, which he is. Fran, do me a favor. Ban Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't like him. Ban him. That's the first ban on TikTok ever. It's something that he said before. You can ban him. Have a good one. It's something that he said before. You know what it is? You know what triggered me on that one? I'll tell you what triggered me on that one. I don't know when he came in here. I don't know when he came in. I don't know what year. 13 years here, grassroots marketing, going out, pitching people Bitcoin, telling people about Bitcoin, going to conferences, paying out of my own pocket, taking my own staff, paying thousands of dollars to go to multiple fucking events where people could show up and not show up to cover Bitcoin, to cover the entire industry. And cocksuckers like him will come in here and disrespect. You know what? You don't got to respect me. You don't got to like me, but you could show a little respect. Just a little respect. Meanwhile, people like him don't move out of their fucking couch. They got a remote control in their hands at all times. They've never been to a conference. They've never done shit for crypto. I've watched this day in and day out. People not doing a thing for crypto, but they got so much to say about crypto and about people that have not gone out to a motherfucking thing. I've spent over $500,000, if not more, in my years here going out and paying for things and advertising and pushing magazines that were fucking Gokhshtein magazine, total fucking loss. Every magazine is a total loss. I am fucking pushing money out there, education out there for free, not charging a motherfucking person. And you have people that do not forget. I know it's about me right now, but there are other people that have done the same thing. And the respect factor is this. That is the respect factor. That's the respect factor. It's not jokes. Every joke has some truth to it. I was raised by Europeans. Every joke has some fucking truth to it. That's it. That's how I was raised. Every motherfucking joke has some truth to it. Oh, he was just joking around. He wasn't. Trust me. So let him find the room now. Let him go participate with a... Let me ask, I've been on TikTok for the longest time now. I've been on TikTok for the longest time. Have I sold you a fucking ebook? Look at your influencers on TikTok. They used to be influencers on fucking X or Twitter. They didn't make it because they couldn't make it on Twitter. Twitter is a fucking cesspool. And only the strong survive on that motherfucker. So they left to TikTok, which is way, way easier. And they're selling you fucking ebooks. Charging you $19.99 for a fucking ebook and then making you buy something from the TikTok shop that don't work. Just like their ebook don't work. Just like this shit. Okay? Yeah, it's the people who come out here day in, day out, who consistently try to deliver value. Now, you might not see value proposition in me, and that is fine. I'm okay with that. Not everybody like Michael Jordan. Not everybody like Kobe, okay? Not everybody's they're not gonna like me, okay? A lot of people won't like me. They'll say, hey, he's way too good looking and I'm too ugly. I don't like him. I don't like his hair. I don't like his green eyes. I don't like his lips. I don't like his nose. I don't like him, okay? That is fine. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. There's an audience for somebody. Right? There's plenty of people that are out here that I think Yo, maybe they do a good job. Maybe people will go to them because they see value, and that's great. As long as we're growing this motherfucking ecosystem, I'm cool with it. My whole goal when I came in here and I finally understood what Bitcoin was and I read the white paper and I sat with Bitcoiners, I understood what Bitcoin was all about and how it decentralized my fucking life, bro. Like I understood what it was all about. That's why some of the coolest cats that I've ever known, some of the cats that taught me everything about this industry, they are retired. And they retired because they were tired of this fucking toxic ass fucking era of clowns that have done nothing but sit back and critique people that are willing to show their face, to get on a mic and put their names out here with their face. You think this job is easy? You think it's easy to come on here every day and break down assets, especially in a bearish market? You think this is easy? How many of your favorite influencers have left? Where's your favorite influencer now? They're gone. You call them KOLs. What opinion do they have that they're leading with? Where's their TED Talks? What stage have they been on? All the influencers that you listen to have left. I've been through many cycles, bear and bull. I'm here. As long as I'm respected within my network, that's all I give a fuck about. I don't get, and I've said this before, I never give a fuck. You don't respect me? You want to spit on my name? I don't give a fuck. If you're not in my network, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, they're going to say things about you anyway, so you might as well make money. I say that all the time. I say that to people that contact me. I say that to people that contact me that are creating content. And they're like, man, I'm getting fucking bashed. I'm like, at the end of the day, like you came here to carve out a brand, carve out a section here for yourself. You came here to make money. It's okay. Don't be ashamed of it. People shamed me for selling one NFT in 2021. They had a witch hunt. A 3,300 person space was opened up about me to talk about how I sold a lazy lion. I bought 21 lazy lions and I sold one to even out all the purchases, and I was shamed for selling. They shamed me for selling a picture of a lazy lion. Before that, some of them would still chirp. They're going to talk about you regardless, so you might as well wipe your tears with dollar bills. Obviously, I'm not encouraging fiat. You get what I'm trying to say. That's why all the OGs retired, man. And when I say retired, they're on Twitter, but they're not active. How can you get active here? How can you get active on X? Like how? How? Explain. Everybody's looking to bash somebody. Like me, if I don't like somebody, I'm not talking about them. Like you're not in my life. I don't care what you do. If you become more successful or you don't, like I don't care. I wish you all the best of luck. Like I do not wish bad karma. I wish you the best of luck. Do your thing. Do your thing. Have fun. I came to crypto to level up. I didn't come to get away from the centralized system. Like, I didn't come here for drama. This ain't fucking Jerry Springer. I didn't come for none of that. I didn't come for a Dr. Phil episode. This is why a lot of people have gone back to IHOP. You pivoted back to IHOP, okay? You pivoted back to Five Guys on OnlyFans, like, or back to Five Guys with Peanuts. At that, you pivoted. It didn't work out because your sole focus is on bullshit. It is absolutely on bullshit. I'm winning, no matter what. No matter what. No matter what. Landy will tell you. What do you think? When I first came into crypto, you got initiated. If you could survive coming into crypto back 12, 13, whatever years ago it was now, this ain't nothing. What do you all say about me? Like, okay, he's a cocksucker. Like, okay, great. He's an asshole. He's fake. He's this. Oh, God bless you. Your opinion, as Deion Sanders said, your opinion of me is not the opinion that I have of myself. Bottom line, I don't care. I don't care. What somebody said, yo, I used to be somebody's fucking hero in their story, and now I'm their bad guy. Like, it's like, it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. I'm telling you. It's like, think about that. You're first the hero, and then you're the fucking villain. Like, once, I couldn't understand, I gotta tell you, I couldn't understand all this because growing up in New York City, we see people straight in their faces, right? Nobody talks like this. Like, when you come on social media, everybody talks wild. But outside, growing up in New York City, growing up in Coney Island, like in a pretty tough area, people are really, really, really in your face. Like, if I'm going to tell you something, I am saying it directly to you. There's no behind the back bullshit. So coming on to here, when I first popped off and like people just started following me because I guess I'm passionate and I scream and I yell and I guess and if you look at some of the magazines, they call me like the fucking Howard Stern of crypto and all this shit. Great, cool. I still don't take none of this shit seriously. I still don't take none of this shit really seriously. When it comes to people saying, "Oh, you got a big brain," I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I come on here. I make content for myself. How about that? I make content that I can sit back and watch myself. I make content that I can listen to when I work out. If you want to say that that is fucking arrogance or some narcissistic behavior, whatever. I don't give a fuck what you say. I like hearing the shit that I talk about. And if I like it, I think maybe other people will like it. I don't know. That I create content for me. I talk about things that I find interesting. That's it. And you don't have to like me. And if you don't have to like me. I don't care if you like me or don't like me. I'm one of those people where I don't care either or. Either way the wind goes. It blows. It doesn't matter to me. It does absolutely. It don't matter. I had money way before crypto. I'm going to say this again. Pay attention. I had money way before crypto. I'm going to say it for a third time. I had money way before crypto. I don't need crypto. Never needed crypto to make... Never needed it. I love crypto. That's the difference. I love crypto. I love the industry. I love the ecosystem. I love everything that Satoshi Nakamoto did. I love the white paper. I think it's one of the greatest papers ever written. I love the meme economy. I think it's dope where I can meet people that love meme culture. Because that's what it is, really, for me. It's about the meme culture. Thanks. Shout out to Sakasa. I was already into meme culture. I leveled up my game on meme culture. I love meme culture. I love the fact that I can express myself with a meme and not talk. Because I'm not very talkative, even though you think I'm talkative. I'm not. After the show is over with, I'm not that talkative. And if anything, I'd rather express myself with a goddamn meme. That's why I love the meme economy, because you can meet people just like you, a bunch of fucking introverts that can go ahead and I'm an introvert, but I can go ahead and sit in a circle. If you get where I'm flowing with this. I just like doing my own thing, man. I don't like to be bothered. And I am naive at times. I am naive, 100%. But I've learned, as I got older, I've learned. Lessons teach you. Lessons teach you all the time. Lessons learned. Lessons learned. For real. Lessons happen. But you can't change yourself. You can't change yourself because the world's nasty. Like I say this to a lot of people that I have conversations with. You can't change your character and who you are because the world plays dirty. You just have to adjust and see it for what it is and try to position yourself to avoid shit. That's really it. And that's hard. That's absolutely hard, but that's my best advice that I can give to anybody. As for the vamps and all this stuff, again, the markets decide. The markets decide what goes. Bottom line, the markets will decide. You can't push people into getting into something that they don't want to be in. You can't do that. Like, people are not going to be forced into being into some or going into something that they don't like. The motion conversations that people talk about, people got motion, this one got motion. It doesn't matter what kind of brand or name you got. It really doesn't matter. None of this shit matters. At the end of the day, right now, in the bearish market with hardly no liquidity, the way things are ascending is people are taking money, 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand. They are pumping that into a chart, pushing it, and then you got a bunch of people rolling in. Now it makes you look like you got motion. Oh shit, that boy got motion. That's all that's happening. That is all that's happening. If Elon can't send something, just in the span of 40 minutes, I've gotten in a span of literally in a span of 40 minutes, I've gotten 4 partnership requests. Yeah, I'm passionate, man. I'm very passionate, man. I am super fucking passionate. I am fucking passionate. I am 100% passionate. I am. Anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial break with the quote of the day.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promised to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. All right, quote of the day. Let's go to the quote of the day. Fran, you can unblock him. I hate blocking people, man. Like, I really do. You can unblock him. You can unblock him. All right, here's the quote of the day, man. No one can use my past against me. I sit right at the table and tell my story from the beginning to the end. I own my mistakes, my failures, and every scar I earned along the way. I've made peace with the darkest chapters of my life. What's tea for you is my testimony. I just felt it was fitting. Where the conversation went, I felt like that quote, I had to look that up real quick. I felt like that quote was fitting. I should say that again. I think that quote was fitting. No one can use my past against me. I sit right at the table and tell my story from the beginning to the end. I own my mistakes, my failures, and every scar I earned along the way. I've made peace with the darkest chapters of my life. What's tea for you is my testimony. There you go. Say that again. As you get older, you realize. You realize. I still believe that crypto will make a phenomenal comeback. I think everybody agrees with that crypto will make a phenomenal comeback. Crypto will make a phenomenal comeback. And I'm sure, listen, like the things that you're in, as long as they're good, okay? They'll see Valhalla. Okay? 100% they will. They will. Again, like when people say vamp this, vamp that, if there's a community there that's strong, you got a strong community. Look, I've watched Bobo right now. Bobo, I'm going to talk about a meme right now. Bobo, the meme. It's right now there's a migration happening from Ethereum to Solana. For those who watch me know how passionate I am about Bobo, because I am the bear and the bear is me kind of thing. The migration is happening. It's happening. The migration is happening. And there are a lot of people that are like spinning up Bobos and stuff. But at the end of the day, there's 26,000 Bobo heads that know who is out there posting Bobo every single day before on chain, and that was Rekt Takashi. So nobody's gonna follow anybody but Rekt into a new Bobo, okay, to keep it on mainnet. So good luck, GG's to you. Especially half these people have hated Bobo for the last 3 to 4 years and have made life miserable. Well, technically Bobo heads don't really give a fuck, but there's always been Bobo maps and all this shit about Bobo. I can't wait until Bobo succeeds on Solana, and Bobo will now have the ability to maybe even cross-chain and shit, you know? So that'll be cool to watch. It'll be cool to watch. Again, migration, I think it's 14 days, so make sure that you go ahead and migrate. Otherwise, there's a 10% fee for late migration, stuff like that. So make sure you do it. It's the first migration, I think, apparently from Ethereum to Solana. So again, it should be cool to watch. It should be cool to see what happens now that Rec has more resources to help send Bobo where it belongs. So there you go. Shout out to anybody who has supported Bobo, the Bo Bros. Shout out to anybody who's been out there supporting. That's been dope. Anyway, shout out to all the memes. Shout out to all the memes. All the people that have been friendly. It's also good to see my friend Green back. Shout out to Green. I know he's not watching, but shout out to Green. I've been trying to help everybody with, I've been trying to help everybody, if you get what I'm saying, to try to help everybody. So, it's nice to see. Anyway, on that note, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I might be on later today or later tonight. I don't know. It depends. But you know what? I went to sleep early yesterday and it felt good. So maybe I try that again. On that note, have a wonderful day and an even better tomorrow.